This single Japanese habit makes you win every day, even if you're lazy. No brutal disciplina. No marathon work sessions. Just a tiny, repeatable action that creates instant momentum. Tired of guilt, shame, and endless procrastination? This flips the switch. Watch and you'll learn the simple ritual, the reason it works, and the one step to steal tonight. Do it daily, and you'll end every day with a small, undeniable victory. Micro rituals that run on autopilot. Your brain will follow the path of least resistance, and tiny, automatic rituals hijack that path. That simple shift is the secret. Design the environment so the behavior does itself. Behavioral techniques like implementation intentions turn decisions into preset responses. If this cue happens, do that exact tiny action. The rule is specific. The result is automatic. Start by shrinking the task until resistance vanishes. Choose one tiny action that takes less than 2 minutes. Put a glass on your sink, so drinking water becomes the obvious next move after brushing teeth. Lay out running shoes beside the bed, so stepping into them is the first motion in the morning. Put your phone on a charger across the room to make sleep a default. These are not motivational pep talks. They are engineered context shifts that remove friction. Attach new micro-rituals to existing routines. After you pour coffee, open a document and write one sentence. After you hang up a call, clear one email. This is habit stacking. Piggyback a new micro-action onto a strong, already established cue. Use precise phrasing for the trigger. Don't say work out more. Say after first close the laptop, first stretch for 60 seconds. Specificity transforms vague intentions into repeatable loops. Design physical and digital cues to enforce the pattern. Place gym clothes where you will see them. Set a browser homepage with your priority checklist. Create an email template labeled reply, 2-minute, and keep it in reach. Automate as much as possible. Recurring calendar blocks, canned responses, and visible sticky notes act like tiny supervisors that remind you without nagging. Keep the wins visible. Track a streak on a paper calendar or a simple habit app. Seeing consecutive marks creates momentum and a tiny dopamine lift each morning. Celebrate immediately after completing the micro-ritual. A single word of acknowledgement, a deep breath, a check mark. This quick reward seals the loop more reliably than a distant promise. Scale by repetition, not by willpower. After a new ritual is stable for several weeks, extend it slightly. Add another minute, another sentence, another rep. Maintain the same cue and environment. The cumulative effect of many small, frictionless wins produces steady progress without grand resolutions or dramatic effort. Use micro-rituals for emotional regulation as well. When stress spikes, have a prepared 2-minute breathing routine tied to a visible cue like a red pen on your desk. For social connection, keep a list next to your phone with 3 names to text when you have 1 free minute. Small, consistent gestures preserve relationships and mental clarity over time. Think in terms of setup, cue, action, reward. That framework keeps rituals on autopilot. The hardest work is the design. Do that once, and the rest happens without drama. Build an invisible system, not willpower. Your brain will pick the easiest path every single time. Decision fatigue is real. It drains motivation and makes trying harder pointless. Willpower is a dwindling battery, not a muscle you can flex endlessly. Design your life so choices are already made. Make the cue obvious. Make the action tiny. Make failure invisible. These are the building blocks of an invisible system. Put your running shoes by the bed. Pack your work bag the night before. Set bills to auto-pay so late fees become impossible. These small environmental edits remove the need to summon energy in the moment. Use if-then plans to bypass hesitation. If the alarm rings, then put on shoes and step outside. If the phone buzzes, then leave it in the kitchen until lunch. Implementation intentions turn intentions into triggers. They are simple sentences that preload a decision for you. The 2-minute rule helps too. Shrink the habit to something that can be started in 2 minutes. Read 1 page. Do 1 squat. Start as all the brain needs. Map the friction points in your day. Walk through a typical morning and notice where resistance lives. Is the coffee maker in the far corner? Is the laptop buried under clutter? Move obstacles away from desired actions and add friction to bad ones. Hide the social apps behind folders. Charge your phone in another room at night. Put a water bottle on your desk with a note that says "Sip now." These moves aren't dramatic. They are invisible. They compound. Automate with technology and commitment devices. Use calendar blocks that include the exact location and materials. Set recurring payments and subscriptions that make skipping costly. Join a class that enforces attendance. Public commitments raise the social cost of slacking. A paid membership or a friend who shows up turns vague promise into locked-in behavior. Create rituals that cue the habit. A 5-step pre-work routine primes focus. A prep Sunday that organizes lunches and clears mornings. Rituals shrink decisions into muscle memory. They feel small and sacred at once. When a behavior becomes a ritual, you stop negotiating with yourself. Start tiny, then scale through Kaizen. Small improvements stacked over time. Celebrate tiny wins. Track a visible streak on a calendar. When momentum builds, extend the habit by 10%. When setbacks happen, rely on fallback rules. If it rains, do an indoor 10-minute circuit. If you miss a day, do not punish yourself. Reset the environment immediately and proceed. You will never be flawless. Systems are forgiving. They catch you when you're tired, distracted, or lazy. Replace heroics with design. Remove reliance on willpower. Build the scaffolding that forces wins quietly and reliably. Remove friction like a samurai cleans her blade. Your day derails before it starts. Small obstacles pile up until momentum collapses. Tiny frictions, a charger in the wrong drawer, a password hidden behind 2 prompts, a coffee maker that needs manual loading, multiply into excuses. They don't feel like sabotage, but they are. Behavioral science shows that reducing steps increases follow-through. Make the first step obvious and nearly effortless. Put your running shoes at the foot of the bed. Keep a full water bottle on your desk. Save your go-to email reply as a template. These changes remove decision points that kill action. One clear trigger, one single motion. The rest follows. Think like maintenance, not motivation. A samurai keeps her blade polished so it's ready the moment danger appears. Apply that discipline to your tools and rituals. Charge devices overnight in the same visible spot. Pre-pack your lunch the night before and place it by the door. Subscribe to automatic bill pay and shelf the paper clutter. When tools are ready, you don't need to muster willpower. Willpower is brittle. Preparation is steel. Leverage defaults and automation. Set your phone to grayscale to squash doom-scrolling temptation. Use a password manager so logging in is a click, not an obstacle. Schedule recurring grocery or household deliveries for staples you always run out of. Automate backups, bill payments, and calendar reminders. Defaults win because they remove the need to choose in the moment. Design one-step rituals. Attach a tiny habit to a reliable cue. After you pour coffee, open one document you need to work on. After you hang your coat, lay out the first task for the evening. The cue must be unavoidable and the follow-up impossibly easy. Start with a single push-up if you must. Start with opening the book. Success builds quietly, like sharpening an edge. Audit your daily rituals weekly. Walk the path your day takes and note snags. Does finding your keys take a hunt every morning? Fix it. Are apps buried behind screens you don't want to scroll through? Rearrange them. Does a leaky process require a 5-step workaround? Simplify it to one or outsource it. Small repairs compound into effortless performance. The payoff is immediate. Less friction means fewer excuses. You will feel a surge of calm. You will reclaim time and dignity. Sharp tools, smooth path, fewer decisions. That's how you win, even when you don't feel like trying. The non-negotiable morning anchor. You can lose an entire day before breakfast. The first moments after waking shape attention, stress, and the tiny choices that decide whether the day drags or sings. Your brain is cleanest then. Use it once, and momentum follows. Waste it, and you fight uphill. Pick one tiny action. Make it non-negotiable. That single act becomes your anchor, something so simple you cannot talk yourself out of it. Examples work. Make the bed the moment your feet hit the floor. Boil water for green tea and breathe for 2 minutes while it steeps. Write one sentence in a notebook. No edits. Open the window and let cold air in. These are not full routines. They are single commitments that stop indecision and force motion. Design it to remove decisions. Put the kettle on the nightstand. Lay out the sheet so a single tug completes the bed. Keep a pen by the pillow with a sticky note. One sentence. The trick is to eliminate options that invite negotiation. If the action takes less than 3 minutes, resistance evaporates. If it involves touching something tangible, the reward becomes immediate. Physical completion releases small dopamine hits. Small hits add up. Treat it as sacred. No phone, no scrolling. The world can wait for 10 minutes. This boundary protects cognitive energy. People who follow this habit report feeling anchored and calmer, even on hectic days. One person first coached swapped rolling over for a 2-minute stretch and described the rest of mornings as surprisingly easy. Another chose a 5-breath tea ritual and found she stopped hitting snooze. If you're lazy, make it absurdly small. The goal is psychological leverage, not productivity theater. Start by committing to one motion only. That motion must be obvious and repeatable. If you miss, reset immediately the next day. Consistency matters more than perfection. Troubleshoot like a scientist. If you skip, ask why. Too big? Shrink it. Too fuzzy? Specify the exact motion and where it occurs. Too many steps? Strip them away. If a messy room derails you, anchor to the doorframe instead of the bed. If mornings are rushed, anchor to the car keys on the counter. Adaptation keeps the anchor alive. Stack anchors once the first is automatic. Add another tiny, non-negotiable act 5 days after your first success, but never overload early. The beauty of this Japanese-inspired approach is in minimalism. One small, deliberate act reshapes your day. Momentum is contagious. When one small thing first, the rest follows. Kaizen moves, identity over goals. Tiny improvements, repeated daily, quietly transform who you are. This is not hype. Behavioral science and practical systems both show that identity-driven cues beat blunt outcome chasing. Focus on who you want to become, and the tiny actions that prove that identity will follow naturally. Decide on one identity statement you can believe. Make it specific and emotionally charged. Examples work. First, I'm someone who writes. First, I'm a person who moves every day. Or first, manage my life calmly. Then, pick a Kaizen move so small, it's impossible to refuse. Write one sentence. Do one push-up. Put on running shoes and step outside. Open a blank document and type 2 sentences. These miniature wins act as incontrovertible evidence that the identity is true. Use the 2-minute rule as your bridge. Short actions stack into habits. Layer them onto existing routines. Stack a writing sentence right after your morning coffee. Place your workout clothes beside the bed the night before. Leave a single book on your pillow. Tiny visible cues remove friction. They convert intention into repeated behavior without heroic motivation. Track identity evidence, not metrics. Mark a calendar when you perform the small action. That checkmark matters more than a stalled long-term number. Celebrate specifically. Tell yourself, first showed up, and mean it. That feeling rewires judgment and fuels the next tiny action. Treat failures as feedback, not verdicts. Missed days reveal weak cues or unrealistic identity claims. Adjust the Kaizen move until it is reliably doable. Shrink the step further if needed. Refinement is the point. Rigidity kills momentum. Over time, tiny consistent moves accumulate. Patterns emerge. The person you used to be becomes someone else, quietly. This method removes excuse and amplifies pride. Winning every day becomes simply proving a truth. You are the kind of person who does the thing. Collapse-proof habits. Fail safe by design. Habits collapse the moment life gets loud. decision fatigue, interruptions, and tiredness attack willpower first. This is not opinion. Cognitive research shows that reliance on effortful choice is the single biggest weakness in self-control. The shock is that most routines assume perfect conditions. They do not. Mistake-proofing is the smarter approach. Japanese manufacturing coined a word for it: pokayoke, devices or designs that make errors hard or impossible. Think of an assembly jig that only accepts a part one way, or a washing machine that refuses to run with the door open. In behavior change, the same principle applies. Design the environment so the correct action is the easiest one. Implementation intentions make this practical. An if-then plan: if first get home, then first will hang my running shoes by the door. Turns a vague goal into an automatic cue. Small anchors and tiny starts amplify the effect. Place a guitar in the living room and practice becomes inevitable. Leave your gym bag in the car and attendance rises without argument. Practical design choices turn brittle routines into collapse-proof ones. Remove choices that create friction. Automate money transfers, so saving happens whether you feel motivated or not. Use visible cues. Leave a filled water bottle on your desk. Leave a book on your pillow to trigger reading. Make the first step embarrassingly small, one push-up or one page, so starting is trivial. Stack habits on reliable anchors. After brushing teeth, do one meditation breath. Use checklists for complex tasks. Pilots and surgeons rely on them because they stop attention lapses from becoming disasters. Create physical constraints when helpful. Place distractions one room away, or use app settings that hide notifications during work blocks. Defaults win. Defaults are silent allies. Prepare for failure with built-in fallbacks. If the morning plan collapses, a night routine rescue can save the day. Keep redundancies. An extra toothbrush at the office, a backup alarm on your phone, or a standing appointment that penalizes no-shows. Social accountability works as a fail-safe too. Telling one person creates cost to quitting. Make commitments tangible. A paid class, a partner who expects you, or a public update feed that you dread disappointing. Celebrate tiny wins to build momentum. Pride is contagious. These ideas are not magic. They are engineering applied to human behavior. Design your world so success is the default, not the prize you must constantly fight for. Small, deliberate design choices compound. They make you win even on tired days. Tiny reps, massive momentum. You can win every single day by shrinking the task until it's laughably small. Behavioral science and habit design agree. Tiny, repeatable actions form habits faster than heroic efforts. B.J. Fogg's work on behavior shows that making actions tiny removes resistance and dramatically increases consistency. Kaizen, the Japanese approach to continuous improvement, applies the same logic. Small daily adjustments produce big results over time. Neuroplasticity does the rest. Repetition strengthens neural pathways and makes the behavior automatic. Pick one micro-action tied to something you already do. After you brush your teeth, do one push-up. While the kettle boils, write 50 words. After lunch, play one guitar chord slowly. Keep it so small you can't talk yourself out of it. Anchor the rep to a reliable cue. Celebrate immediately. A tiny verbal yes or a fist pump. That reward triggers your brain's motivation loop and cements the habit faster than discipline ever could. Real examples prove it. A friend who hated exercise started with a single push-up daily and now trains regularly because the routine became normal. A colleague who struggled to write began with one paragraph after morning coffee and now finishes drafts without dread. Teams use Kaizen-style micro-improvements to cut waste and raise quality by iterating on small changes, not big overhauls. Momentum does not arrive in a flash. It accumulates quietly until weeks later you look back and realize you have a new identity. Make it practical. Choose one rep. Attach it to an existing ritual. Make it absurdly easy. Celebrate each completion, even if it's tiny. Only scale when the action feels automatic. Expect tiny wins to build confidence, and watch them cascade into larger efforts. Start with one tiny rep today. Keep showing up. Momentum will follow. Habit stacking. Dominoes become an avalanche. James Clear popularized a simple, repeatable formula. After current habit, first will new habit. It turns micro-actions into unstoppable momentum. People who use it stop relying on willpower. They build automatic wins instead. Start with an anchor you already do without thinking. Brushing teeth, pouring morning coffee, opening your laptop. These are anchors. Attach a tiny follow-up to one anchor. Keep the follow-up so small you can't say no. This is the core of habit stacking. BJ Fogg's Tiny Habits method and Clear's stacking advice both show the same truth. Small, well-placed actions compound. For example, after you sit down at your desk, write one sentence toward your most important project. After you pour tea, breathe, and list one thing you're grateful for. After you zip up your running shoes, step outside the door. The build-up feels effortless. Design stacks that remove friction. Make the cue obvious. Prepare the tools beforehand. If you want to floss, keep floss right next to your toothbrush. If you want to read more, place the book on your pillow. Use implementation intentions in plain language. After 10th, first will why. Say it out loud. Repeat it once. That tiny ritual alone primes your mind to act. Don't overload a stack. One clear link per anchor wins far more often than a long chore list. Track progress visually, and 10th on a calendar works. Celebrate small victories. A microscopic win releases dopamine and makes the next repetition easier. Apply stacks across life domains. For productivity, after checking email, set a 2-minute timer and write the single most important task. For fitness, after changing into workout clothes, do one bodyweight move. For relationships, after dinner, ask one sincere question about their day. For home life, after hanging up your coat, place one item in its proper spot. These vivid, concrete pairings turn laziness into predictable momentum. Over time, one tiny habit leads to another. The dominoes multiply until the avalanche becomes your default. Small, stacked wins beat motivation. Always. Ritualize recovery, not regression. Poor recovery is quietly stealing your progress. It hijacks focus, flattens mood, and keeps the brain in a reactive state. The body doesn't distinguish between a chaotic unwind and a real reset. Hormones and attention systems respond the same way. That's why deliberate end-of-task rituals matter more than the end result itself. Create a simple sequence that tells your nervous system the day is over. Use sensory anchors, a particular mug, a single song, warm water on the neck, or a specific phrase you say out loud. Repeat the same order every time. The predictability trains your brain to switch gears faster. People who build consistent transition cues move from high stress to restoration without argument. It's not magic, it's patterning. Swap low-reward distractions with micro-ceremonies that cost little but gatekeep your choices. Instead of doom scrolling, put your phone in another room and make a deliberate embodied action. Stand, breathe, step outside. Write a short completion note. Small, visible rituals create a line of separation between work and recovery. They reduce decision fatigue by removing options that lead to regression. You will still feel tempted. That's normal. The ritual gives you script. Anchor rituals to something you already do. Tie a recovery sequence to closing your laptop, finishing a workout, or arriving home. Protect that window like a meeting you cannot miss. Add environmental design. A soft lamp, a meaningful cup, gentle music, or a scent reserved for downtime. These cues convert a passive pause into active restoration. Over time, mornings become easier, stress rebounds faster, and slips stop snowballing. Treat the practice as training, not indulgence. Start with one repeatable habit and defend it. Remove the easiest temptations first. Silence notifications, hide the open tab habits, and give recovery a physical place. Expect imperfect days. Keep the ritual anyway. The accumulation of small, deliberate recoveries prevents collapse. You win by design. Lock it in. Make the system your default. Decision fatigue silently ruins plans. Your brain will default to the easiest option when choices pile up. Defaults steer behavior more reliably than motivation ever will. Make the easy choice the right one. Automate payments so bills never sneak up on you. Subscribe to essentials and skip the grocery panic. Set recurring calendar blocks labeled with action, not intention. Write 60 minutes instead of work on book. Use phone focus modes and whitelist only the apps that serve the task. Small tech moves become structural changes. Design the space to do the work for you. Leave your running shoes beside the door. Keep the guitar on a stand in the living room. Put a book on the pillow if you want to read nightly. Visible cues are defaults for the body. Remove the friction for good behaviors and add friction for bad ones. Uninstall games, log out of shopping apps, move the TV remote to a drawer. The environment will keep promises you cannot. Lock the system with rules and simple automations. Use if-then plans. If first sit at the desk, then first open document A. Use recurring tasks rather than one-off to-do items. Calendar invites are contracts. Treat them that way. Batch similar actions. One grocery list, one cooking session for several nights. Use password managers and autofill so healthy choices happen without thought. Use social defaults to reinforce the machine. Tell a friend you will finish the chapter by Friday. Schedule public check-ins. Habits that are observed become harder to ignore. You gain external accountability without increasing willpower. Triage your goals. Pick one keystone habit and make it non-negotiable. Start so small that success is inevitable. Then scale by making the next step the new default. Progress compounds when the system runs you. Measure what matters and iterate. If a default fails, change the environment until it succeeds. Track completion, not perfection. Small wins breed momentum. They also quiet the shame that used to stop you. This method removes heroics. It replaces grit with design. You get relief, not exhaustion. You get results, not promises. Make the system the default, and the days you skip will no longer define you. This one tiny ritual beats willpower every single time. It's called Kaizen, tiny daily improvements. Do one micro action, 5 minutes, one push, one page, one small win. Repeat. Momentum builds. Laziness fades. Key points. Pick a tiny habit, commit to doing it every day, celebrate the small victory, and let progress compound. First get it. First use to put things off too. If you try this for 7 days, you'll feel the difference. Tell me what tiny win you choose in the comments. If you want more simple, doable hacks, subscribe and stick around. Next video, 3 micro habits that double your wins. Start now. Win today.